everybody, and welcome to a little walkthrough, or actually not that little, a walkthrough, quite frankly and quite simply, through Rome. It's not Rome, Total War Warhammer 2. I'm so used to saying Rome before that title, I can't help it. It's still in my system. A new game that recently came out, and I was hesitant to buy it. But I'm not going to go into what I think too much, because if you want to see that, you have to go to my review, which is on my other channel. And the link is in the description, and I will leave cards and end screens and all that to it as well. So first we're gonna go, if you come from that video, because I will link it vice versa as well, welcome, glad to have you here. We are gonna check out this game. I have deinstalled all of the mods, or not deinstalled, but like deactivated all of the mods that I have installed. I use the radius mods that like implement some extra armies and stuff like that, which I really like. So I've done that. First and foremost, we're going to look into some of the factions that we have. Obviously, when we go to custom battle, we can instantly, of course, choose the guys that we want to be. We've got the Dark Elves, which their leader, we saw him in the little preview video, is Malekith. Really cool. He has a little bit of Sauron in him for the Lord of the Rings. I really like him. His faction kind of reminds me of Mordor as well. He's got like these Dark Elves, which are really cool. There are some monsters, including a black dragon and a war hydra, which both are quite cool and quite strong. Really cool. He's got some harpies in there as well. A faction I have personally picked as my favorite as of yet, but I haven't played an awful lot. I have played all factions though, so I do know what I'm talking about. Their counterparts, obviously, the High Elves. They started in potentially the most beautiful place in the entire map, of what is a beautiful map, which we'll see in a second. Their leader is, well, I've picked Tyrion, but you can also go for Teclis. There's two leaders. We go back to the High Elves. We've got Morathi as their other choice. But back to the High Elves now. They have cool units as well. I really like the size of them. They have an amazing system with like dragons. They have the Hemisphere Dragon, the Frostheart Dragon, the Sun Dragon, the Moon Dragon, and the Star Dragon, which I think are really cool. There are some giant eagles as well, and some eagle claw bolt throwers. So they do use eagles and dragons, which I think is amazing. Some really cool cavalry as well. Overall, really cool faction to use as well. Then we have the Lizardman. He probably stood out a little bit. We've got Mr. Mazdamundi, really difficult name, which is basically a flying frog on a little platform. Really strong guy though, he's quite cool. The other guy leader is Krog-Gar, I think. He's like more of a dinosaur, really. They have mostly dinosaur-like creatures in their ranks, the temple guards. Also some cool monsters, I have to say. Carnosaurs, Stegodons, which are basically all based on dinosaurs, which is really cool. I really like their faction as well. I haven't played an awful lot with them, but I do enjoy their faction. And then last but not least, we have the Skaven, which are an interesting one. Basically, the entire existence of this faction is based on food, yeah? I have to make sure that there's enough food for your armies, that there's enough food for your people, otherwise you'll get rebellions, and things will go sour very, very quickly. Also, another thing that you get with these is that you can see your cities and your, you know, your capital and all that. You can see it as a city. Other people will see it as ruins. So they come and investigate the ruin, which is the thing now. Some ruins are just empty and you can find treasure in them. Others will contain Skaven. And you could be in for a nasty surprise there, because the Skaven aren't to be messed with. They are a pretty strong faction. They haven't got the strongest of soldiers most of the time. There's a lot of like these Skaven slaves and stuff like that, but there's like numbers of them. They're cool to use as well. Really like them. So that's it. There are 4 factions. Not as many as last time. I think we started off with 4 factions as well. When we go into campaign, we're going to go in a new campaign. We have Tyrion from the High Elves, and then another High Elf faction we've got with this guy, Teclis. Both of these obviously can be used as the High Elves, which we will do in a second, because I want to show you. They are basically the base start game, so we're going to start as the High Elves. Then we've got Mazdamundi with his Lizardman, Hexoatl, and we have the last defenders, which is this guy over here, Krog-Gar. We've got Malekith with his Nagarond Dark Elves. He looks amazing. He is probably my favorite boss in this entire game. Look at this. He looks so awesome. He really does. And this is his mother, Morathi. Of course, RPG game, kind of, well, sexualized, which is unfortunately what still happened. I haven't actually used her, so I would not know how she plays, or if her faction is any good. I do know that these guys, the Cult of Pleasure, always gets very strong. And then we have the Skaven, Queek Head Taker, right there, and his counterpart, Lord Skrolk. Quick and Scroll, both really cool factions and amazing faction, but we're going to start off with Tyrion, and we're going to start this campaign off right now.
Who are the Asur? An enigma to men and dwarfs, who know them as High Elves. At the center of the great ocean lies Ulthuan, a paradise created by the Old Ones. But when the stellar gates collapsed, demons flooded the mortal plane. All was lost until Anarion the Defender strode forth. The first Phoenix King vanquished the demons with the aid of the Archmage, Calador Dragontamer. It was Calador and his elven mages who created the Great Vortex. A swirling maelstrom that siphoned the excess magic, withering demonkind. With the world purged of chaos, the elves took it upon themselves to become guardians and stewards. The twin-tailed comet is oft seen as an omen, but this time its wake brought great peril.
The dragon with two tails flies lower than before. Its trail disturbs the vortex.
I have felt a change in the winds of magic.
Then write it, brother. Lead the mages of Safari. Bring all in the White Tower to bear if you must.
Such lore is currently beyond us.
I suggest a scrying ritual in the pool of Isha. It may provide us with the answer.
Such a ritual requires fragments of fallen waystones. Far more than we have.
Then we find more. Make ready your ritual, Lordmaster Talarian. You will have your fragments.
I shall start the search in Lustria.
Lustria?
My brother will search here, in Ulthuan.
Why do you care so much about the greater world?
Why do you not? Stay here, brother. Protect Ulthuan. But I venture beyond our borders.
And while you meddle in far-flung continents, I will ensure you have a home to return to. Fellow Asur, rally to my banner. Ulthuan is under attack, and the Great Vortex imperiled like never before. The Druki invade us in number. No doubt Malekith or his twisted crone of a mother have sensed weakness in the Vortex. Their attack is blatant. They come directly for the sea gates of Lofern. The seat of the Phoenix King must not fall. Finnobar has entrusted me to lead the counterattack. Join my cause, brave Asur, and together we shall overcome. The Druki cannot be allowed to despoil the sanctity of Ulthuan. Draw your weapons, and by Asurian's will shall we prevail.
So, that's a little intro sequence that we're getting. Obviously, we're going to get all the missions and stuff down here, which you all know about. There you go, as if you're familiar with these games. This is the world map. It's really cool looking. This is not the entire thing. This is the elven part of it, which is not bad at all. This is where we're starting out at in Lothern, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's probably been said a couple of times. This is the big thing where the game is basically all about the Great Vortex. This is the one thing. All of the four factions will be in race to get its power from. All of these factions get their own thing that they need to do. I need to find wave fragments. Skaven needs to find other things. I know that the Lizardman needs to find tablets. You need to find scrolls with the Dark Elves. So different for everybody. You need to find and get the first or as soon as possible to all of these rituals. And if you need to make sure that you're the last one who get the big rituals so you can get its power, basically. I've never gone to the end point of the game because it takes a while. It's based on long campaigns usually. But yeah, so this is the part of the elves. Then if we zoom out a little bit more, this is the entirety of the world map. We've got an entire big map over here. This is where the dark elves start. We've got the lizardmen will be further down a little bit here and here. Skaven will usually start down on this continent, somewhere over there. It's a very big map. If you want to do it all, it's really, really big to all go to. We've got the treasury still up here. We've got the income over there. We've got the map, missions, and all that stuff down here. When it comes to like characters and army rosters and all that stuff, not a lot has changed. Buildings and stuff, it's all literally the same thing or so. I believe we have the rights that we can perform, which is a new thing. At least I've not seen them before in the previous game. When you get enough certain things, in this case, it's all based on money and on some of the technologies and things that you do with missions. You can basically unlock these rights, as you can see, have certain influences on your economy, your army, your, you know, anything of the sort, which is really cool. I like that. But these are my objectives. Very simple. Those were there before. Diplomacy is still pretty much the same as last time out. Not a lot has to be changed, to be honest. It's not bad at all. There you go. We got this entire area over here. We've got intrigue at the court, in which you can basically influence people. Like, every faction has its own little things. And of course, you have the technology tree, which is quite extensive. It's you know, there you go. Plenty to choose from. At the moment, obviously, we can't recruit like the very best of soldiers right away. That's just what happens. That's basically it. If we're being honest, you know, and obviously a lot of things will happen. You will get things that happen in a good way, things that happen in a bad way, things that influence your playthrough. We've got all these different factions that you can either fight with or try to be friends with. It's all about what you want, to be honest. These purple patches are where the dark elves will try to get. The dark purple is the dark elves color. Those places basically are where they can find the most of their scrolls, like one over there as well. I've played a lot with them, so I know where to find them. One over there, this is where they start off, the Druki, as they're called. The Norse guy is still in the game. If you previously bought it in the previous one, I've seen the Beastmen being in there as well. So there's plenty of options. There's some Empire left, we can't play as them, obviously. And that's basically where it comes down to. It's a race right now. It's a race to find, well, whatever your faction needs and get these rituals done to learn what needs to be done next. And so as you enter and in a fight to make sure you get the power over the Great Vortex. Some want them for bad, others want them for good. Now, when one of the factions reaches this point or that point or any of the points, they will start sending out a big signal, which you will see. Obviously, the High Elves will send out a blue signal. I believe the Lizardmen will send out the yellow one. Skaven will be red. The Dark Elves will be purple. With a stream of magic towards this vortex. As you do that, Chaos Warriors, Chaos is basically the big evil party from the last game, will appear, and you have to defend the cities that send out the signals with their towers against Chaos. You'll also be able to send in intervention armies, which means obviously we are right there. Skaven is on another continent. The Lizardmen are on a different continent as well, and all the way up that continent is where the Dark Elves are. It's impossible for us to be there, especially at the start of the game. So what we can do is if we have enough money, we've got a 2,000 one, a 5,000 one, and a 10,000 one when it comes to gold. We can send in intervention armies, which are small little factions on their own. We do not control them, but you know, a 2,000 gold army will give you not too good of an army, really. 5,000 gives you better, and 10,000 will give you like one of the best armies that you have in your unit roster that will be sent as a different small one-man only faction to try and fight one of the cities or the cities where the signal comes from and interrupt the signal. Obviously because you can't go there yourself. So there are some decent things that you can be able to do. Influence is a thing that you have with the High Elves, and the Dark Elves have slaves, in which you need to actually get slaves in to, you know, make a lot of money and do all that stuff. They're dark, but I like them. Not because of slavery. I am totally against slavery, but I've really enjoyed playing with them. But that's basically where it comes down to, you know. This is basically it. If you want to see my full review, and if you want to see what I actually think of it and all of the details, you will need to watch my review, which is on the other channel. Also, if you want to see more of this, then make sure to let me know, leave a like, leave comments, and notify me that way. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you at the review. Bye bye.